Okay, we're going to have a look at the truss rod on this guitar. So what I'm going to use first of all is the proper tool to test the straightness of a neck. And I don't know whether you can see there or not, but this neck, to me, I'll try to zoom in. There's no gaps in there, and there's no gaps, sorry. There's no gaps in the middle, no gaps at the end, and no gaps at the top. And that is a perfectly straight neck. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to unstraighten it and show you what to do to get it back to being straight again. On these type of Strat shape guitars, 99% of the time the truss rod is in the top there. Rarely, but it does happen that it's on the other end of the neck. But I'm showing what it's like with a popular guitar, how to adjust things. So I'm going to unstraighten this neck. And one of the things that I strongly recommend, and I stress the word strongly, is having the right size of Allen key. If you don't have the right Allen key and it's too loose, you'll damage the Allen key screw inside the truss rod, and that's a very common thing that we discover. And sometimes it means taking it out and taking the neck off and stuff like that. So you don't want to have the wrong size Allen key, but you also don't want to be swinging on this too much. But this is quite loose, so if I put it in there and tighten it, it doesn't need to be tightened. I'm tightening it. What it should do, bring the neck up like that, right? So I'm tightening it a bit, but I'm not going to go crazy. Let me just check to see if that's done what I want it to do. It has. So right, I'll change the camera angle so that I can show you how the neck is affected now. Now, this neck is not right. So I'll show you first of all with the proper tool, and then I'll show you with a straight edge why it's not right. Let me just get the angle right for you. Right. Hold on a second, wrong side. Is it the wrong side? No, I got the right side. Right. One of the things you can see automatically in this, can you see it rocking back and forth a little bit? It's only touching the wood, it's not touching the frets. That means that the middle is higher than there because the truss rod's tightened and it's pushed the middle up. So what I'm going to do is show you with the straight edge now, because you can do this with the straight edge. It's a little bit more difficult, but the same thing applies. You got a nice straight edge, but it's rocking, right? Now the opposite can apply where you have a guitar neck which is underbowed, which is that way, and you want to bring it up, so you tighten it. But if your guitar neck's too high, you loosen the truss rod down. I'm going to do that now. I'm going to loosen the truss rod right off to see if this neck will go down to an underbow. But it may not. It may actually sit fairly nicely, because most necks are designed to be straight, and it's only over time that the wood would move and things would like change the shape of the wood. So that's the truss rod completely loosened. Right, okay, so let me just see where we are with this. That's the truss rod completely loosened, and this neck is perfectly straight still. There's no movement whatsoever. So the truss rod, for all purposes, doesn't need to be in this guitar. I'll show you on the other one. And there's no movement at all. It's harder to see when you're using the frets, because one of the frets could be higher, but generally speaking, most frets will be straight. Now, I said that this guitar doesn't need a truss rod because the neck is so straight. But what happens when you put the strings on? You put tension on, and there's nothing holding it. So what I always like to do is I like to have the truss rod. You just put the Allen key in until you feel the truss rod. Yeah, that's so the truss rod is just there. It just feels like the truss rod is supporting the neck. It's not doing anything to it, but it's supporting it. And I'll just check that again. Right, that hasn't changed anything. It's perfectly straight. But now when the strings are in, it's got the metal truss bar going the whole way, supporting the neck. But there are several different types of truss bars. You don't need to worry about them.